السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Do you hear me? Okay. So for this week we will investigate chapter number 4, client-side programming with the JavaScript language. So the question is, why we will study JavaScript? So in the previous weeks we learned HTML, and we say that HTML is used to define the content of a web page. Also we studied CSS, and CSS is used to specify the layout of web pages. So now JavaScript is used to program the behavior of a web page. So JavaScript is a scripting language. It is often run in web browser applications, and the goal of using JavaScript is to create dynamic content, for example like a pop-up message, and there is no relation between JavaScript and the language, the programming language Java. Okay. So when we talk about dynamic web pages, there is a client-side dynamic web pages and a server-side dynamic web pages. So in this chapter we will investigate the language JavaScript to create a dynamic web page in the client side. Good. So let's write a hello world JavaScript program. So the problem with JavaScript is JavaScript has no input-output statements. So for example, in Java, we can, for example, write system.out.println to output. We can also use the scanner, the Java class scanner, to read some statement. In C language also we can use printf and scanf. So the problem in JavaScript has no input-output statement. So the solution is to use the input-output methods provided by browsers. So we will use alert and prompt. Alert, pop-ups, alert box containing text, and the prompt, pops up window where user can enter text. So keep in the mind that JavaScript has no input-output statement, and if we want to create an input statement, we will use prompt, and if we want to create an output statement, we will use alert. Prompt and alert are two input-output methods provided by browsers. It is clear? Any questions? Okay. So this is an example of a JavaScript file. So when we use an HTML document, the extension of the file is .html, and for CSS files the extension is .css. So for JavaScript files the extension is what? Good, very good. .gs. Yes. So GS is the type or the extension file of JavaScript. So in our example, the name of our file is gs.helloworld.gs. This is the name of our file. Okay. So in this example, we write window.alert hello world. No, GS is not a tag, is a file. Is a file like CSS. CSS is a file. Also, JavaScript is a file. So how we can make a link between HTML document and a JavaScript file? This is an HTML document, okay? And this one is our JavaScript file. So we have to make a link between this file and this file. So to make a link between a CSS file and an HTML file, we use what is the tag that to use to create the link between a CSS file and an HTML file? If we have an HTML file and a CSS file, we will use the tag link. Okay, the tag link. So here, to create our link between an HTML and JavaScript, we will use the tag script. So script make the link between HTML document and the GS file. So here we write script with type equal text JavaScript and src equal gs hello world.gs. So an src attribute, we will specify the name of our JavaScript file, the same name. It is clear? So when we execute, in this HTML document, there is no content here between body and end body. No content. For this example, no content. So when we execute or we open this HTML document with a browser, we will obtain what? We will obtain a pop-up with hello world. Why? Because here we write window.alert hello world. Alert is a method provided by the browser to show a pop-up. So the web page and alert box generated by gs.hello-world.html document and gs.hello-world.gs. This is the response or the result of our HTML document. It is clear? Any questions? So if we want to create a prompt window to create an input, in this case we will write window.prompt, and in window.prompt here, for example, this text will be displayed here. Enter JavaScript code to be tested, for example. The result or the content, this input, will be affected to in string. So in string here is a variable. In string is a variable. This is a variable. So to make an output, we use window.alert, alert for output. And for input, we use window.prompt. Any questions? Okay. So what are the properties of JavaScript? Note that JavaScript code did not need to be compiled. So JavaScript is an interpreted language, and the portion of browser software that reads and executes JavaScript is an interpreter. So interpreted versus compiled language. So for example, language C is a compiled language. The advantage is simplicity, but the disadvantage is efficiency. So JavaScript, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a scripting language designed to be executed within a larger software environment. So JavaScript can be run within a variety of environments like web browsers, our focus in this chapter, web servers, application containers, etc. So all data in JavaScript is an object or a property of an object. So there are two types of JavaScript objects: native, that means provided by scripting engine, if automatically constructed before program execution, known as built-in objects. We will discuss the different types of built-in objects in the next slides, inshallah. And host, provided by host environment. For example, alert and prompt are host objects, not native. Host objects, that means provided by the host environment. In our case, the host environment is the browser. And native, that means provided by the scripting engine. Any questions? Okay, so here, for example, in the previous examples, we say that JavaScript has no input-output, okay? And the browsers provide standard input-output alert and prompt. So the browser in our case represents our host. And alert and prompt are host objects, not native objects. Okay? But also there is another type of objects provided by JavaScript, the native object. For example, examples of native objects: window, it's a native object; math, the object of mathematics; date is also a native object. So native, that means provided by scripting engine. So for this object are automatically constructed before program execution. And here window, math, date, etc. or string, also string. Math, date, window represents built-in objects. So keep in mind that in JavaScript there are two types of objects: native and host. Host, that means provided by host environment. For example, in our case, the browser provides alert and prompt. And native, that means provided by scripting engine. It is clear now? Good. So how we can develop a JavaScript software? To write a JavaScript code, we can use any text editor, for example, Notepad or Emacs. Also, we can use a specialized software, for example, Microsoft Visual or EnterDev. Also, we can use Dreamweaver, etc. So to execute JavaScript, we just load into browser, and to load it, we need an HTML document. And browser detects syntax and runtime errors. For example, for Mozilla JavaScript console list error, or for Internet Explorer exclamation icon and pop-up window, etc. So let's move to some examples of JavaScript. Can you see my desktop? Okay. So to create a JavaScript, we just write, for example here, I want to create a JavaScript. We just click New Text Document, like HTML file, like CSS file. After that, I write my instruction in JavaScript. For example, in my case, I want to make a pop-up, an output. The first one, I write window.alert hello world with JavaScript. The second one, I write window.alert level 6. After that, I will write I will make file, save as. Here I write the name, for example, example. After that, .gs, sorry, and save as type all files. Okay, it's clear. I write save. I click on save. Sorry, and here I will obtain example like this. This is a JavaScript file. If I want to modify this JavaScript, I just click on edit, and I can modify anything in this JavaScript file. Okay, so this is my first example. Do you see the pop-up, the first pop-up in my example? Yes, okay. So in my first example, hello world with JavaScript, I click on OK. After that, the second pop-up is level 6. Level 6. I click on OK. After that, I will obtain my first my HTML document. So in this example, what is the file, the JavaScript file, the name of JavaScript file in my example? Now, GS is not the name, is the file extension, but I want the name. What is the name of my JavaScript file in this example? Not first example, not example. No. The name here, script type equal text JavaScript. After that, src equal. Here in src I can find the name. So the name is script1.js. Nothing on string. No slide. Do you see my desktop? Okay. So what is the name of my JavaScript file? So the name is here, script1, not script, script1.js. So the file is script1.js. Okay. So here, if I want to create a link with a CSS file, I write a link rel equals style sheet type equal text CSS href equals style.css. But if I want to make a link with a JavaScript language, I will use the tag script. And the tag script is under what? Under the tag head. But it is not, we can, for example, write a tag script in the body, no problem. Any questions for the first example? Okay. Let's move to the second example. So in the second example here, enter a number. This is a pop-up, and in this pop-up I have to enter a number. For example, 7. I will enter 7. Okay. This example write level 6-7. Okay. So in this example we use prompt. Yes, very good. So what is the difference between the first example and the second one? Can you see my example here? In the first, just we use alert. In the second, we use prompt and alert. Okay? There is another difference. In the first example, I use an external file. The name file is style1.js. But in this example, I don't use a file. I use what? In the second example, in this example, I use an embedded JavaScript Yes, very good. Embedded. So, like CSS, we can find an external file or an embedded CSS. Also, in JavaScript, we can write the script into HTML code. In this case, we will use the tag script. So, we use the tag script. Script type equal text JavaScript. After that, and script. It is clear the difference between the first one and the second one here. And in the first one, I make a link to a script file, to a JS file. And in my case, the name of my JS file is script1.js. In the second, I write an embedded JavaScript code. Any questions? Okay. So in this example, I write script type equal text JavaScript src equal script2.js. So what is the name of my file, my JavaScript file? There is no attribute. In script, yes, script2.js, very good. Yes. So let's go to the script2.js. So here I have Notepad++ is a software like Notepad. Variable in my example here, I write variable str equal window.prompt enter a number. That means the number will be saved, entered by the user, will be saved in the variable str. It's clear? The first line is clear of this code. After that, window.alert str, that means I will alert the value of str. This is the execution of this example. So here, enter a number. For example, I will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. After that, the value will be displayed using a pop-up. Any questions about this examples? Very good. Basic JavaScript syntax. So this is an example of JavaScript code, and through this example we will discuss the syntax of JavaScript, the basic JavaScript syntax. So the first note that there is no main or function in method. So for example, in Java language we have a main function. We write public, static, void, main, string, args. Okay, but in JavaScript, no main. Okay, it's clear. This is the first point. The second one, if we want to create comments in JavaScript, comments are like Java or C++. So hello.js here is a comment. It's clear? Good. After that, variable declarations. So in JavaScript, the declaration is not required and the data type not specified. So here it is not required to create a var thinking of or var guess. So thinking of is the name of the variable. Guess is the name of the variable. Var is a keyword, but we can remove all this. We can remove it, not required in JavaScript. It's clear? Good. Also, the data type not specified. So in Java, if we want to create integer, we write int x. So we have to specify the name of the variable and the data type. But in JavaScript, data type not specified. So not specified, that means when I write x equal 5, x in this case is a string. If I write x equal hello, in this case x is a string. It is clear? Good. After that, semicolons are usually not required, but always allowed at statement end. So here we are not like Java, but here our semicolons are usually not required. Equal. So what's the meaning of equal? Arithmetic operator same as Java and C++. Here that means the variable thinking of equal math.cell of math.random multiplied by 1000. When I write in Java, like Java or C++, if I write x equal 5, that means in the memory there is here a box with the name x with the value 5. Also in JavaScript. So arithmetic operators same as Java and C++. Plus. So plus here string concatenation operator as well as addition. So for example, if I write guess equal window.prompt, this is a string, this one, first string, plus this is a second string. This plus make concatenation, like Java. We will make concatenation. It is clear? Any questions? Good. Arguments can be any expression. So this is an example of an argument. If we have many arguments, argument lists are comma separated. So this is a method. Prompt is a method. Sale is a method. Sale has one argument, but prompt in our case has two arguments. So if we have a list of arguments, argument lists are comma separated. Any questions? So object dot notation for method calls as in Java, C++. So in this example, when we write window dot prompt so window here is a built-in object. It is an object, and prompt is a method. So we write object dot method like Java or C++. It is clear? So JavaScript offers many control constructs and use of brace identical to Java or C++. For example, here when I write while, after that this is the begin of this loop, begin, and this one is the end. Here is the begin of if. This is the end of if. And this one is the begin of else. This one is the end of else. Loop, yes. Is like Java or C++. It's clear? Any questions? So most relational operators syntactically same as Java and C++. So we can, for example, use this operator that means different, while, guess, different, thinking of, or less, or more than, etc. And here we will thinking of is a string, thinking of is a number, and guess is a string. If we will make a comparison between guess and thinking of, there is an automatic type conversion. So guess is a string, thinking of is a number. So guess will be automatically converted to a number. But in Java, for example, we have to write integer $1% to make the conversion between string and number. In JavaScript, the conversion can be made automatically. It is clear? Yes, the string will be converted to a number. Okay, let's move now to variables and data types. So type of variable is dynamic, depends on the type of data it contains. And JavaScript has 6 data types: number, string, boolean, object, null, and undefined. Null only value of this type is null, and undefined value of newly created variables. So for example, when I write variable x, so the type of x is undefined. If I write y equals 6, y is a number, z equal hello, so z is a string, etc. So keep in mind that there are 6 data types in JavaScript: number, string, Boolean, object, null, and undefined. For example, I write object x equal new object. So the value of x is undefined. I create a new object. After that, I want to remove this object, so I write x equal null. So in the first one, x is an object, but in the second one, x is a null. We can use type of operator. So type of returns string related to data type. For example, here we have how many variables in this example? 2, I and j. So when I write a variable I, the type of I is what? Not string. Not string for I. Undefined. Yes. Why it is undefined? Because here is a newly created variable. We create the variable without a value. New. Good. And for the second, g equal not a number. So the type of g is what? The type of g is a string. Very good. So if we want to get the data type of I and the data type of G, just we write type of plus, we write type of operator plus the variable, the name of variable. For example, type of I return undefined. So here, for example, in our example, I write alert, give us this pop-up. I is this string will be displayed. I is like this. After that, plus, that means concatenation. Type of I return undefined. G is type of G is string. Is clear? Any questions? Okay. Let's move now to common automatic type conversion. So if we compare string and number, the string value will be converted to a number. For condition, for example, of if or while, the value will be converted to Boolean. For array accessor, for example, if I write record 3 will be converted to a string. It is an array accessor. There is some rules for names. So the name of a variable must begin with a letter or underscore. must contain only letters, underscores, and digits, and must not be a reserved word. A variable will automatically be created if a value is assigned to an undeclared identifier. For example, here, variable is not, the keyword var is not required. We just write testing equal after that a value. For example, does this work? So in this case, testing will be a string. But the recommendation is to declare all variables. This is a recommendation. Why? To facilitate maintenance and to avoid certain exceptions. Let's move now to JavaScript statements. So there is expression statement, any statement that consists entirely of an expression. For example, expression code that represents a value I equal 5 or G++. Block statement, one or more statements included in braces. For example, if I use the loop while, there are many statements. In this case, I will use braces to indicate the begin and the end of these statements. And keyword statement beginning with a keyword, variable, var, or if, etc. In this case, we talk about keyword statement. So keep in mind that for JavaScript statements, there are three types: expression statement, block statement, and keyword statement. Any questions? So this is an example of declaration of many variables. So here I write variable I, MSG equal high, O equal null. So if I use many examples, many variables in the same line, I will use the comma. So the comma will be used to separate declaration. So this is a comma separated declaration list with optional initializers. There are many Java-like keyword statements like if then else, do, while, for, continue, break, return, switch, try, throw, etc. For example, we can use var to define a loop variable inside a for variable I equal 1, I less than 3, I plus plus, etc. For case, there is a difference between Java and JavaScript. Here, case value can be an expression. JavaScript operators. So operators are used to create compound expression for simpler expressions, and operators can be classified according to the number of operands involved. For example, if we have, so the number here is the classification based on number. One, only one unary, for example, I plus plus or plus plus I. If we have two operands, for example, x plus y, ternary, that means 3 operands. For example, in a condition operator here, this is the first operand, this is the second, this is the third. This statement is equivalent to write if debug level is more than 2 details, the value is details, as the value is an empty string. So we will continue with JavaScript operators in the next week, inshallah. Any questions? Okay, thank you for your attendance, and see you next session, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.